So I'm Drew with Satellite.im, and we are building a decentralized chat and video and voice application. So right now, Satellite is a decentralized chat, group chat, voice, video, screen sharing. It's powered by IPFS and libp2p. And the way that we did that is we created an abstraction layer called Iridium. It's an isomorphic JavaScript library that you can find on GitHub. And Iridium basically simplifies the process of bootstrapping IPFS and libp2p. It bakes in DIDs for the user and JWE for encryption. So the way we do that is we allow the user to derive a application-specific private key using signed messages from their wallet or a web crypto private key if they have one. We simplify pub/sub and user-controlled storage by just offering a really simple interface. Basically just get, set, pub, sub, add. So we provide that simple library. We can use it in a client or run it on the server. Our servers are called sync nodes, and sync nodes act as a pinning service, a gateway, and a relay. Anyone can run a sync node, and sync nodes can bootstrap from each other. They're configured to exchange peers, pins, and other information, stored information from the user on an interval. So on the client, the user provides us with an entropy string. You can see we have just an example entropy string. Most configurations will probably just consist of a list of nodes, a list of gateways, which by default the nodes will spin up a gateway, but that's optional. A list of APIs, again, optional. And then you can really get into the specifics of configuring your IPFS or libp2p. We take the entropy message that we have the user generate. We create a peer ID and DID from the private key we derive from that. And then we initialize js-IPFS, and we have a bunch of configured defaults to just make it work. So on the server, you configure your listen addresses for the swarm, API, gateway. If those listen addresses are detected, those elements start up. You can add pub/sub message handlers really simply that the users can interact with. You can use the client API within the sync node to set, get, directly dial peers. By default, the sync node will keep track of peer data. So right now, it's like name, avatar. I think that's about it. And then you can use that name and the last 6 is what we're using right now, the DID, to discover other users, similar to Discord. We keep track of offline messages, so if a user tries to message another user and that user isn't connected to the sync node or can't be found from the sync nodes that sync node is connected to, that sync node will go ahead and hold on to that encrypted message for a certain amount of time or until it sees that user. And we store all that in SQLite. So users can find each other really simply. They can sync their pins, peers, offline messages on any node that they want. So they can connect to a node. If they want to be part of the larger network, that node needs to bootstrap from one of our nodes, but that is optional. So for our uses, we're building, the chat application. We took the Iridium elements and we run federated servers all across the globe, and then we have the browser dial into those, discover peers, get connected directly, and then we initialize WebRTC where it makes sense. So you can try it for yourself. You can check out the GitHub repos. We have core PWA is the JavaScript client application, and we have Iridium, which is the JavaScript library. We're also working on uplink and warp, which are our Rust equivalents. So concluding, by using the federated nodes, we can sync and store encrypted user data. We're able to offer a theoretically decentralized network, which will take participation from all of you or whoever wants to use it, and offer private user data and communication without the need to go on-chain. We have the option. We're using wallets here. We will definitely be exploring on-chain, but it's all optional. We definitely need your help to scale and improve the network. We are looking for PRs or any feedback on what we've built so far, and we can't wait to see what you've built. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to do a little demo. So as a new user, right now we're still working on wallet support. We have a PR come in for that. We have Ethereum and Solana wallets supported. In the browser right now, we just go ahead and create a Solana wallet, which you can see here is my 12-phrase mnemonic. Yeah, it's different every time, so you can go ahead and save it. I don't mind. So I went ahead and saved that. Now I'll create my username. And I'm in. And now on this, on either one of the users, right, you can just click on your username. You'll copy the friendly ID, which is, like I said before, a combination of your username or alias and the last 6 of your DID. So I'll look up the other user. Oh, there they are. Add them as a friend. On the other side here, you can see I got the friend request. Might have moved that too far. Boom. Now we're in. So we're messaging. We can go ahead and establish a call here in a second when they see each other. But we do have a demo application that you can all check out, core.satellite.im. It's working. You can call each other, create group chats. We're looking forward to see what you do with it.
If I wanted to self-host this myself and have a private subnet, is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet.
Yeah, and it's really easy. I mean, if we look back at the code example, you only have to really configure a few things to get in, running your own sync node. It's just your swarm address, your API, your gateway, those are your listen addresses. And you can go and extend whatever element of IPFS's configuration that you want to. And then if you want to be part of the core.satellite.im network, right, you will have to bootstrap from one of our nodes, but we'll discover you, make sure you're legit, and you'll be a part of it.
Hi, can you give a brief overview of how you implement the video part with WebRTC?
Yeah, so it's basically just signaling over libp2p. When you go to dial, you send the challenge over to the other user, they send back the acceptance, and you're dropped into a call, and we initialize the streams and throw them on the UI.
I asked because I've tried working with this before, and I've noticed it's very slow, especially when you try to add more than one person. I mean, more than 2 people. So
Yeah.
I'm curious how you approach that.
Yeah, we've tested it with groups of 12, 15 people so far, and it's working great. So I think we solved some of that by using the federated server and just kind of limiting the configuration so that you're really only speaking to other people in the network that you're interested in speaking to.
Thanks.
Can you elaborate on what the entropy string is used for?
Yeah, so we derive the entropy string typically from a signature. So we'll have you sign your passphrase so that you can recreate that private key. We want you to be able to use your crypto wallet. So the reason that we generate the entropy is just so that we can have something that we can reuse to sign messages without prompting you over and over again.
So that would mean that if I use the same entropy, it's my identity, basically.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And we derive that entropy with, some unpredictable elements so that it's very unlikely, unless someone has your passphrase, that they're going to be able to reproduce your account.
Very cool project. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
I wanted to know some information about your user base size, where you guys are at in release,
Right.
what your future goals are, those sorts of things.
Yeah. So we're just coming out of experimental phase. We just put all this together and got it working very recently. So we have a small user base of people that we've invited so far. It's kind of silent launch.
Friends and stuff,
So
yeah.
you'll all be among the first in. So.
Okay, cool. Are you associated with an organization, or is this stuff you do on your weekends, or what's the formal structure behind the development of this project?
Both. Yeah, I'm with Satellite.im. My team's back there.
Okay, that's a corporation. They pay you a salary. They have an
Yeah.
income stream. And so what's their revenue stream look like, or where do they get their funding, if I'm allowed to ask that?
I'm the wrong person to ask that. I'm a dev.
Okay, all right. Private donor. Okay. And then you said that I've heard this phrase isomorphic JavaScript library a number of times recently in the past 6 months, and I don't know what that means. Can you, and it's out of scope a little bit, but if you could define
Yeah,
that, that'd be
absolutely.
great.
It just means that it runs in the browser and on Node. So you can run with the same code, get used to it. It's very simple interface.
It has the same shape. It can be run the same way on client and server. Thank you.
Yeah, we just wanted to keep it as simple as possible so we could onboard junior developers without them having to really understand what was going on and then slowly bring them into the core library. Thank you.